Ladies and gentlemen, it is my great pleasure to introduce Shalini Khanna, who's the Honorary Secretary of AIF's MAST partner, the National Association for the Blind, the India Center for Blind Women and Disability Studies in New Delhi. She's also a consultant with the National Institute for Visually Handicapped and a coordinator for collaboration with the Tsukuba University and Tokyo School for the Blind in Japan to provide vocational training for blind students, and a distinguished panel member on the sexual harassment committees of GenPact, Religicare, Daj Vivanta, and HSBC. Shalini has worked in the field of disability research and advocacy for almost 2 decades, gathering valuable experience and incomparable knowledge. With her is Renuka Bhagat, a beneficiary who's a graduate of the MAST NAB program with first-hand experience of the struggles finding meaningful employment when disabled. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my great privilege to bring to the stage Ms. Shalini Khanna and Renuka Bhagat, please.
And you'll have to stand here for a minute. Sure. Hi, everybody, and thank you for having us over here. Thank you, AIF. I think I should be short and give the stage over to Renuka fast enough. Just wanted to share a small incident that transformed my life. About 17 years back, I was in corporate market research, qualitative market research with a very renowned company in Delhi, and came back to do further studies and my HR master's. And then was still deciding what to do, how to really get into real HR, which was not really present at that time in the companies in India. And just happened to go for a voluntary work in a blind school under National Association for the Blind in Delhi. Till then, I had never really seen blind people around, except for the beggars in Delhi. I thought they were dirty children, underclad, noses running, and almost like all those beggars on the streets of India that we see every time we go there. And I had never seen any blind child in my school, in my class. I was really not prepared. And I went to this school kind of prepared with a kind of, fear that I don't know what I'm going to be doing with them. I stepped into the school's premise, I remember, a little dirty marble floor. And I was shown a very dingy room to wait to meet the director. I just saw this very beautiful, I mean it, very, very beautiful girl of about 14 years old, 15 years old, walking down, just like you and me, walking down and just entering that room and asking that guy, "Sir, I heard there's a phone call for me," in this immaculate English and the accent. And he told her, "Yes, the phone is on the table." And she started groping for the phone. That was my first encounter with blindness in that school. She started groping for that phone, picked up that phone, started talking again in immaculate English, and then just kept down the phone and went away saying, "Thank you, sir." I was very shocked. I had not really expected a very pretty girl who's blind, who doesn't look blind. And the guy, the manager of the institute, started scolding at her back, saying, "I told you not to make that guy a boyfriend. He calls up so many times." And then he's telling me, "She goes to DPS, bigad gayi hai, she's spoiled." I was very shocked. DPS in Delhi is a premium school, expensive. And I thought, okay, she goes to DPS. Well, then went on my encounter with the director, who again did not look blind, and she turned up to be blind, and I was doubly shocked. And that's when I got to know that these children go to very good mainstream schools in Delhi. So I started volunteering to read and to teach. And when I entered the premise of this hostel, I felt that there is such a big distance between the schools that they go to and the place of stay that they come back to. There is poor nutrition, because there were no resources. There are daily fights with the maids around. The maids are uneducated. They are not able to understand these children going to very good schools. The hostel was serving about 250 children staying over there. Most children were dumped by their parents in that school and in that hostel because they did not know what to do with the children when they go blind. That's when I felt good opportunity to do HR, actually. Match the needs and match the demands and bring up reforms in this place. And I started working from there on. This was in 1997. My journey hasn't finished yet. It's still going on, and I was also, because of my research experience, I was asked by Asian Blind Union to do a research in status of blind women in India. And that gave me the opportunity to travel to almost every part of that country to meet about 500 blind women individually and understand what are their needs and the challenges. Well, starting from that girl in that school who was called Madhubala Sharma in DPS, who's right now working as an accent trainer's team leader in IBM. She was a very great example, but when I started spanning the whole country to understand what are the needs of the blind girls, I saw grotesque stories. I saw women in Haryana, blind women, being gifted away in dowry with a sighted sister to the same man in marriage. And because she was not trained for anything, while the husband and wife, sighted husband and wife, would go out to work, this blind woman would sit back at home waiting for someone to come back, cook, so that she could have at least one meal in a day. That was alarming. There were so many such stories. And thankfully, after 2 years, I was offered to start a center for blind women in Delhi in 2002. Though I did not have any clarity on what I'm going to do, but I definitely remembered these stories, that there are so many challenges and needs that we need to be fulfilling. We also saw in the research that there are trainings, but the trainings are so backward, like candle making and chalk making, which are not surviving anymore. There are no employments on that basis. What are you going to really earn after that? Well, we started the center with a clear focus. We want to bring these women hidden back in corners of homes into the limelight and give them something contemporary so that they start living again. National Association for the Blind India was established in 1952 in that country. It's the single largest NGO in that country working for visually impaired. And this center was started in 2002 with now an additional vision. And yes, we started the trainings with life skills, which were very, very important, like even being able to walk on the road. And then vocational trainings like computers, handicrafts, even massage trainings. And then we added on the chapter of research to it, and that's the time when AIF really supported us and gave us a hand to understand the actual scenario of employment in my country for the visually impaired and the opportunities that could be created. They actually started supporting us for all these trainings. Without that support, we were not able to really help even half the number of women. And I'm so, so glad that we are able to now give back data to our own government as to what to do actually about the scenario in India. Thank you, America, and thank you, India and America, for all this support that you send our way.